Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jason. I'm in charge of pre-sales for GoodWe South Africa and part of the Solar Academy team, which presents all of our trainings and user manuals, guides, and some videos and instruction tutorials and that kind of thing from a GoodWe standpoint. Just a little bit of introduction from my side. So I've been with GoodWe for about 2 years now, and yeah, still learning a lot and enjoying every moment of it. I think we'll get straight into the SEMS Plus app 2.0 introduction. So this is the introduction on our mobile application. We'll go through a few slides in the presentation, and then from there we will go into a live demo from one of my mobile devices that I'll share or screen share onto the machine for you. Okay, if we look at some of the project background. So in the middle of last year, we launched the SEMS Plus 1.0 app. And since then, we have redeveloped or redesigned the app to make it a more user-friendly all-in-one application with the SEMS Plus app 2.0. And that comes with a few upgrades and benefits to you as either the end user, the installer, the distributor, or anyone like that. So some of the previous generation of the app where we have upgraded or increased from there are things like our AR functionality upgrade, smart home interface design, so a new look and feel for the app, local and remote app integration, and then most importantly, our access to IoT model data metrics, and then the all-in-one bundle that we've got. So I'll show you next slide what I mean. So we have got the new SEMS Plus app, and what that's done is it's taken all of our previous apps and monitoring platforms and combined them all into one user-friendly space for everybody to use. So the SEMS Plus app now includes SolarGo. SolarGo is used for local commissioning and on-site commissioning and on-site data analysis. SEMS Plus and the SEMS Classic app were the two previous remote monitoring platforms, and then SolarOS, one of our O&M platforms that we have as well. So all we've done is we've taken all of the user-friendly apps that we already have and combined them into one user-friendly app that we can then use for all commissioning, local configuration, remote upgrades, IoT access, platform integration, everything in one place. We look at some of the highlights for the new app. So like I mentioned, the unification is where we've changed some of the app. So the unification of it, having local and remote app integration into one place, domestic and international integration, being able to see our plants from across the globe, and then having two different viewing models between our residential and CNI integration with our grid information and then obviously our design. One of the new features that we've brought into the new app as well is our intelligence section, which is our AR agent, AR co-pilots with forecasting, troubleshooting, support, and health statuses that we can do. With that, we've obviously increased the professionalism for it. So having additional parameterization, minute level, second level data monitoring, increased monitoring control, and reporting structures that we'll go through as well. Having the remote control and remote O&M on the new app as well, whereas in the past we'd had to do it from a third-party device or from a web-based version of an application. From the branding side, it's been a UI revamp, so a new look and feel, adding in a dark mode and that kind of thing that we'll have a look at. A new logo to the app with the slogan that we'll get to now in the next slide. And then company product device schematics as well. So now we have included into the new app our GoodWe slogan. So we, the smart energy innovator, we meaning that we are together. All of this is done obviously to make it easier for everybody, from end users to distributors to installers and to us as the actual manufacturer, to be able to give you guys as much support and as much information as you need from monitoring side of things, from a control side of things, and from an installation and obviously troubleshooting side of things as well. This is just a quick look and feel of the new SEMS Plus 2.0. I will be doing a live demo in a few minutes, and we'll go through all of that as well. This is just to show sort of the look and feel between the light mode and dark mode, where we'll be able to see all of our device information, some AI information, as well as the overall schematic or view of the plant itself. So some key optimization points for the new app. And we'll go into all of these independently from the UI visual redesign all the way down to the owner installer perspectives. So the first point that we'll look at with the new SEMS Plus 2.0 app is the UI visual redesign. So the look and feel for the app has changed, where we've integrated a dark mode and a light mode, increased the company brand colors in it, as well as changed the look and feel to a more liquid glass design style, which is more similar to what the new sort of UI is on new Apple products. I don't know if anyone around has seen what it looks like on the Apple products, but it's very similar to that. And we've got that new sort of sleek, modern design look, with the fonts being more easily readable, clearer to see, with background displays being real time, and then obviously all of the same functionality we had on the previous iterations of the apps, just in a new design for the energy flow design and easier visualizations, or a more techie feel. So with the UI visual redesign, we've also added in the IoT model. And all that means is now we've got a full device list where we can see all the device metrics modeled as individual objects, and we can do a proper have proper access to all of these devices independently, rather than having to sift through specific areas or devices to try and find some of the information. We can now go into our device list, look into every single device as we need to, making it one easier for you and adding in that additional ecosystem design. So if we're adding in multiple inverters, adding in our own batteries, adding in an EV charger, whatever it is in the future with a data logger, whatever it is, by adding in all of those things, having them all in our device list, adding into our ecosystem, making it easier for us to obviously access, monitor, control, and see what's happening with the plant as it happens. Having a look at the next section, or the IoT model itself. So most of the data itself is the same as our new SEMS Plus web portal that is now also live and available to use with multi-end collaboration, being able to access everything between the two applications, having exactly the same information between the two of them with up to 1 minute level data monitoring. In the past, everything was in a 5-minute interval, even on the mobile app. Now we've increased that and allowed for up to 1 minute level data, 1 minute level data monitoring. Some key metrics is the energy flow diagram, second level, 10-second real-time monitoring. We'll be able to see information a lot more, a lot closer to real time as we can get to it in a remote setting. So we've got some AI functionality that's been built into the app as well, and we'll go through some of this today while we're going through the live demo. But all it has done now is we've included an AI intelligent customer service assistant, where we can ask Q&A, ask it anything, and it will be able to assist you, as well as obviously having that knowledge database queries and business data queries as well, with it being able to work off of one past questions that have been asked within the app, links to all of our Solar Academy information, all of our user manuals and everything, as well as information from the web. So whether we ask it on here or asking it from your own ChatGPT bot or whatever it is, from here we'll be able to start looking in the right place and get you the information you actually need as accurately as possible as well. Along with the AI functionality of just having a chatbot that we can chat to, it's been included into AI Copilot EMS, and that will help you with a lot of other things, like being able to assist with weather forecasting for your plant, so you can understand where your optimization is going to, and in the future, being able to use that to improve your economical benefits and be able to see exactly what could happen with your load consumption. So being able to adjust sort of time of use, so understanding how full or how drained your batteries will be dependent on weather forecasting. You can add in dynamic electricity pricing, that kind of thing. Very difficult, obviously, in our region. But with us knowing what the increases are, adding in these kind of tariffs, we can use this AI to start planning and seeing where we can obviously save as much more as we can. And then we've got our AI health diagnosis. So most of this would be done on the SEMS Plus online portal. But from here is where we can do things like our power plant health diagnosis and battery health diagnosis, where it'll be able to give you a lot more information on the battery side of things, be able to tell you what's happening within the battery using a GoodWe battery, to tell you exactly how sort of happy your battery is from a cell level. Monitoring point of view based on the temperature and everything that's happened in the plant itself, on the battery itself. And then on the power plant health diagnosis side of things, we'll be able to see things like what's happening with your string allocations, what's happening with the actual inverter itself, whether it's comfortable in the temperature that it's operating in permanently, as well as those kind of things. So it is an additional benefit to something that we've added in, and I'm pretty sure that in time, this is just going to get stronger and stronger and be able to help you fully develop your system or develop your plant to be able to use it completely optimized without having all of the knowledge of being in the solar industry if you're an end user, and to help you obviously as an installer as well. So the AI fault analysis is something we've had part of our system for quite a while. The difference is now it's obviously become a lot more intuitive, and it's starting to learn from past experiences and obviously from areas that we're seeing, picking up from all of the GoodWe information that is being put into the system to try and find exactly what's happening on your sites. So it'll be able to help you quickly identify root causes of faults. If you have an issue on a site, you can go into the alarm page. From there, we can find a reason, go into the suggestion side of things through the AI. And obviously using the chatbot, we can ask for a little bit more information or ask for assistance as to how we can use this or how we can check wiring or whatever it may be. Local and remote app integration. So this is one of the big things that I like about the new app, the new SEMS Plus app, is the fact that we are now merging the two applications. Doing a lot of training in the past, I've often been asked, why do we have two applications, one for monitoring and one for local access? If we can password protect the local access, is there a need to have it completely separate? For a long time, obviously, yes was my answer because that was how it was designed and structured. It made sense at that time because we didn't have, there was no necessary requirement to have a direct link for the installer to be able to separate the monitoring side of things from local configuration. So having local configuration connected on one app, it's the app we use when we commission the system, and we give the end user the other app. The end user or the homeowner only needs access to the monitoring platform, but a lot of homeowners now are becoming a lot more intuitive and want additional access. And if they're buying the products, it makes perfect sense that they would need that kind of access as well, dependent on the installer and dependent on obviously the homeowner that is having the system installed. So having our app now merged into an all-in-one app makes things a lot easier, one for the installer and then two obviously for the end user and homeowner itself. So it's now become a lot more consumer oriented, having everything in one place for remote design specifications and all of that, having all the configurable configuration side of things connected into one place where we can do all of our backend configuration, our local configuration, and everything all in one place as well. Our local configuration, we now have local multiple entry points, so different places where we can obviously connect to the system. I'm going to touch on this very quickly through the slides. We'll show it in the actual live demo a bit more. But this is where we can now separate our local configuration and our service center configuration, where we can access things remotely and locally. Creating a power plant is where we would start, obviously creating a station for your plant itself. Through there, we'd be able to go to local device configuration. If you look in the third picture on the right-hand side, once we've created the station, there's the quick configuration tab that takes you directly to logging into the machine itself. The second way to do it would be to add a physical device. Once going to the device, we can do local configuration. So that's what I'll show you today. A quick look at the remote plant creation. So creating a plant has never really been easier. It's as simple as pressing the plus plant button, adding in the user information, adding in the device, and then connecting to the device to do the physical configuration of it. So the physical configuration, there is not all of the information is available yet. So we would still need to do some configuration via the remote channel on SEMS Plus or via the SolarGo app. However, this has already started and we can do the basic configuration settings, connecting the inverter to the network, doing your basic work mode settings and that kind of thing. And then obviously all of our one-click sections as well. So creating a station is really, really simple. Being able to use this information in one place makes our lives a lot easier. The next is the unified app design. The fact that we now have an integrated app for all-in-one purposes, where we can use one password for everything due to the cybersecurity functionality of our app, and obviously of the actual built-in communication dongles that build onto our inverters. Having that security in two places obviously makes things a lot safer. We have got a residential scenario and CNI scenario compatibility. So we'll show you the two looks of two different plants, one a CNI plant and one a residential plant. The second picture on the right-hand side gives a really nice indication of a CNI plant where we've got everything all in one. So we've got our diesel generator connected, our solar panels, our inverter, the grid, and then the load side of things, our GoodWe heat pumps, the EV chargers, our physical loads being connected, and all of this being connected through a third-party EMS. So that's sort of a full schematic or full scenario diagram. One of the ones I'll show you is a more simplified version of this, but this is just to show you what it could look like. Remote control upgrades, these are the kind of things that we've added into the app and made it a lot more user-friendly, one, and a lot more intuitive and a lot more control for the installers. And this is something that we've pushed for quite a while, and we're very, very grateful that we now have it in the new app. In the new app now, having everything all in one again, like I've mentioned, the SolarGo app, the previous two SEMS generations and our IoT platform all into one place allows us to do all remote settings or all remote control settings at a granular level on our mobile phones, whereas in the past we could do things like the work mode settings, basic battery functionality settings and that kind of thing. Now we can do absolutely everything. So it makes things a lot easier for you as an installer on the go, answering a phone call from a customer without having to contact the support team to get information or anything like that. We'd be able to just log onto your phone, change anything we need to change, and be able to do it all yourself. There's a differentiated design for owners and installers. So owners and installers will be able to change and adapt to the way they want their app to look. To make it easier for them to understand, and adding things in that they feel is relevant for their plant for monitoring, and taking things out that they don't find as relevant for their own monitoring style or the way they want to see things. So as an owner that only has access to one plant, you'd be able to see things like your actual homepage, the plant devices, and it's a lot more asset oriented. Whereas from an installer plant point of view, On your home page, you'd have things like your entire plant list, all of the plants that you've installed, and then it is a lot more O&M oriented, being able to access each device and being able to see your alarms and being able to control those devices as we need to. Okay, one of the other things that has been added and is going to be bettered and more coming soon is our instant monitoring notifications. So we can now add alarm subscriptions, push notifications and everything on our mobile app. Should something go wrong on any plant, you'd be able to see those alarms pop in. We have support in app messages, mobile application notifications, email notifications as we need to. We'll go through some of this as well shortly. Just a quick look of the coming soon information. So remote control, some models have wide access. Most of the models we use in our region have already been done, but the app is still in development and it will never really completely be done because our R&D team will continuously look to improve and better the product for us as we move through the way we do our monitoring. I'm just going to connect to my mobile device quickly. Second. So when we log into the app, there's two ways to connect to it, either log in or register. If we register, we can register either as a homeowner or an installer. Log in or create an account as an installer. It will ask for all of your business information when we go to the next page, and then be able to add in your organization number, be able to then have access to everything you need to, all the plants that you create from your side. Going to log in as an installer. Once you've logged in as an installer, you'll have access to all of your own plants. I've got two plants here, one being the GoodWe Test South Africa plant. This is a ES Unique installation on our test bench, and this is what the actual schematic or energy flow graph would look like. It's not on at the moment, and you'll see why shortly. And that is because, that is the view if it is a residential plant, along with all the consumption monitoring and information. We go out, we can have a look at GoodWe Test. GoodWe Test is a CNI plant. This is where you'll see the actual schematic being slightly different. Give you all of your information in the top information there in either one day, over the last week, over the last month, or year, to be able to see exactly how much energy is being generated and your revenue based on the tariffs that you've put in. If we go back, you'll see on the actual energy flow diagram, our storage is a side area, our solar is a side area. Click on storage to take us to exactly what is happening on the battery itself. Be able to give us some more information on the battery and what's happening on it. As well as on the PV side, we click on the solar panel. Take us to our inverter's information and be able to see exactly what's happening on the inverter. So if we go down here, there's some consumption monitoring. If we want to see energy flow graphs, we can. This gives you a really nice breakdown of how your power is being used. Of the 10 kilowatt hours of solar that's being used, we're using 60% of its actual usage, and 40% of that is going to charge our batteries. From our batteries, the additional 40% power from our solar is running into the actual usage side of things, and there is no power coming from the grid. There's our power curve information. Fortunately, I can't turn my screen sideways, but this is where we'll be able to see all of the information in the plant as the days gone on. Underneath there is our tariff plan and SOC, so how much we are using from the grid or how much we're spending from the grid. As you can see here, because the grid is not available, we're discharging the batteries from the PV and not costing us anything. We go into devices. This is where you'll be able to see your device list. In the device list, you'll have all of the information here. Your inverter, battery, communication dongle. If we click on the inverter itself, this is where you'll be able to see exactly what's happening on the inverter, as well as the batteries, and be able to make all of the adjustments and settings we need to change or could want to change. We see any operational data, we can. If you go to operational data and more information, this is where we get more lifetime data as we need it. Power factor information not relevant at the moment because the plant is off grid. Some backup information and PV information as well. See the little AI agent moves around as we need to, so it does move out of your way if you need it to. Maybe we can see exactly what's happening in this plant, as well as the chamber temperature or internal temperature of the inverter itself. So there's some system parameters. As you go down, you've got a lot more information you'll be able to view. Settings tab, we click on settings. This is where we can make all of the changes and settings that we need to change, the same as we would have been able to in the past at SolarGo. However, this is remotely, so more similarly to how we used it before on IoT. So a lot of these settings would have to be done on site or via our IoT platform, whereas now we've got access to everything on your mobile device. So if we go to protection settings, for example, we can go to safety regulation settings. And there, our safety setting, which is our South African grid code that we connect to. Energy management, where we can select the work modes, working modes of our inverter, and be able to change anything as we need to. Go into backup mode, for example, we can change backup mode. I'm not going to make any changes to the plant at the moment. We've got some R&D guys busy working on the system. I don't want to change too much. And if we need any information in the top right corner, there's a little information block, and that will explain every single working mode to you and explain exactly what each one does. So even as the end user or homeowner that hasn't had a solar system before, that wants to understand what each grid or each work mode does, we can go through all of them here and make it easier for them to understand as well. For whatever reason we need to one-click restart the inverter, we can do that from here as well. Some of these settings will be protected and not available to the homeowner, but only to you as the installer, unless you have given it the permissions to do so. Under the battery, we can change battery parameter settings, view all the information we need to for the battery. And in the settings for the battery, you can do immediate charge, battery status settings, protection settings, the SOC limits, and that kind of thing as well. We'll be able to do from the SOC limit protection section within the battery parameters. If you're not sure what any of them mean, you can click on the little information bar and it explains exactly what it means. After the system is off-grid, the battery gradually recovers to its first SOC through PV generation or other generation methods. So it does give you a little bit more information than it used to make it a lot easier again for you as the installer and for the end user itself. page. So in the plant itself, we can go to alarms, see exactly what's happening on the site. Click on the alarm itself. We can go down. There's a reason for the alarm and a suggestion as to what we can do to fix it. If we go into the top right corner to the three dots, this is where we can do basic information, changes to the plant, tariff settings, change it to fixed tariff with the price that we're paying in to make all of the information that we are reporting on accurate. We do South Africa again. This is where we can make changes if we need to. Adding in an owner's email address. Now for an end user, if we add an owner's email address in here and we close it, click the tick, it will automatically create them a end user account, a visitor's account to be able to monitor the plant. So there's no need to, in the beginning, when we do the full registration, for the end user or homeowner to register their own plant. We can do it directly from the owner's email address. We go into these three dots again. We go to Share Station. This is quite new and unique to the new GoodWe SEMS Plus app, is we can add sharing and give them specific rights and time limits to do it. So again, if I want to give anybody access, I can give them a user access and change the to either monitor or monitor and control. So if you have a customer or an end user, or you as an end user want to have the additional control, obviously having a conversation with the installer is a good start, but having the permission changeable to either give them monitoring control or monitoring and control is quite nice. And if you have a new user that needs to see a plant, give access to a plant or anything like that, we can give them a specific time limit, saying that we want to give them access because you are a new customer, we want to show you what the app looks like. We'll give you access to a plant of our choosing, and you can see the plant for the next 3 days, for example. So they've got access to this plant now for the next 3 days. Thereafter, their permissions will go away. If you are an installer and you are sub-installing for another organization, we can go to organization and we can have you be shared through your installer account via your organization code, the same way as we would be able to for a specific email user. By doing the organization code, meaning everybody in your organization will have access rather than having to put in my email address and my cousin's email address and my sub-installer's email address and because we're all under the same organization, giving my full organization access allows everybody to have access as we need to. So again, not necessarily beneficial for everybody, but in certain applications can be extremely beneficial and make things a lot easier. There we'll be able to see our share list. Under the alarms tab as an installer, under your alarms tab will give you alarms for all of your plants. If you want to see plant specific alarms, you can click on the actual plant itself, and within the plant, go to alarms. So again, for an O&M, from an O&M point of view, you can click on the alarms tab, see if any alarms are happening on any of your plants, and you can obviously take it from there. You click on accounts on the right-hand side, you can go to about, you can see whether or not it's on the latest version history of the plant itself, go into settings, change the appearance into dark mode. I'm not going to do it now, it's a lot easier to see the screen share if it's in light mode. You can change things like your time formats and all of that. Notice periods, this is where we'd be able to do all of our application notifications, push notifications, and all of that as well. So we can then go back and allow all of your notifications as you need to. Add alarm subscriptions. So you can have a message center. In the message center, you'll be able to see it directly on the app when you open it if any alarms pop up. as well as push notifications and emails if you need to see a physical notification pop up on your machine, and how often you want to see these notifications or timelines for it. So if you have an alarm hasn't been resolved in 10 minutes, it will push a notification through to you. Otherwise, within 30 minutes or within 1 hour, or you can just ignore all alarms as well. So again, it depends on you. Shared station subscriptions, you can do the same thing. We can add in additional subscriptions or notifications, information that we want to share to us. And security, that's just obviously being able to delete your account, create a new account. You'll see the AI little agent has been around the whole time. So we've got the GoodWe South Africa plant that's been offline for a while. I'm going to ask it why it's offline, and we'll take it from there. Hi, I'm the GoodWe AI agent. Please help me. I'm always nice to them. I'm not sure if they're actually listening, so try to always be nice. My plant, GoodWe South Africa, is offline. Why? And it will start searching for you. So first it will make sure that you've got the correct plant. I said it spelled the plant incorrectly or named the plant incorrectly. So if I have a look through all my plants and find the best one. You'll see out of the two plants, it's obviously picked up that GoodWe Test South Africa is probably the one that I've asked about because it's most similar to what I put in, as well as the fact that it is actually offline. So it'll give me a plant summary, possible reasons for it not being online, and the reasons for it obviously is check network connectivity, inverter issues, weather conditions, maintenance, and then recommended actions. So fortunately, I am close to the plant. It's in the office next door to me, so I'll be able to log in locally and see exactly what's happening. So if I go out of the agent, obviously say thank you or don't, doesn't really matter. But the information is obviously there, and there is a history for your questions that you've asked as well. And you can ask it anything if there's any alarm codes that are coming up. If your inverter, if you're sitting on site, has got a specific LED light happening or flashing or whatever it is, you can ask any of those kind of questions. If we click on services, under services, we've got our announcements, our GoodWe community and after sales service channels. That will take us to wherever we need to take us, as well as a tool for our warranty checking. User manual, if you need any information based on the actual SEMS Plus app, where we can go and look for reports or anything like that, we can do it through the user manual itself, as well as our GoodWe AI being able to help you through that. This is where we've got the local configuration. So essentially SolarGo built into the new SEMS Plus app. So I'm going to connect via Bluetooth because the device is very close to me. This is the GoodWe Test South Africa plant. And here we have access to the plant. I can see now exactly why the plant is offline. And that's probably because the dongle in the top right corner doesn't have the online connection. And the reason why is because I haven't connected it to the network yet. So I can go and connect it to the network. Let's just go back. This is where we'll be able to see exactly what's happening on our plant. So it's not the same energy flow diagram as we used to seeing, but it does give us all the same information and live information as we need to see it. We've got parameters, so it will give us all of our inverter parameters. Currently, the inverter is just connected with a battery. It's just for display. but it will be able to give us all the information as we need to, as well as in alarms, if there are any alarms. Waveform like normal, try to connect to the network, to the grid, there is no grid available. So that's giving us a grid outage. The settings. So under settings, currently we don't have all of these same settings that we would need on SolarGo, but we can do our basic connections. And from here, obviously, once the plant has been created, be able to do everything else remotely. Firmware upgrades are also available to be done here. And the firmware upgrade status does look a bit different and work a lot better. It does not allow you to continue with anything else on the app while doing the firmware upgrade until the app is until the upgrade is completed. So under settings, everything is set independently: communication settings, work mode, remote dispatch, AC side settings, PV side settings, battery settings, protection settings. Under quick configuration and general settings, all of these have been added into one place. So we can go next, connect to the network, let's put the inverter online. That's the network, we connect to the guest network. Here we go. Now our inverter is online. We'll do our South African grid code as a safety regulation. Select the connected battery. Know that is the right battery. And then we can go through all of our work modes. Again, if we're not sure what they mean, we can click on the question mark at the top, and it will go through all of the work modes and give us exactly what all of them mean. And then complete our configuration. This is the first time I'm doing this configuration. And now the plant has been connected to the network and we've set basic parameter settings. Now, if we go out of the local connection configuration, before we move on to the next section, I just want to show you this quickly. When connecting via the local connection access, in the top right corner by device list is a little question mark. If you're not sure how to connect to the inverter or how to connect to the communication dongle, because they are slightly different depending on how old the model is, they all work slightly differently. We've got a tutorial or an example of how to connect to each device itself, whether it's the old wireless LAN connections or we needed to do it via the wireless LAN connection or any of our Bluetooth devices. And when it loads at the bottom, our data logo connections as well. You can click on these, for example, our LAN box. It will tell you exactly how to do it, how to go through the password settings to be able to connect to the communication dongle. So it does make things a lot easier for you when we need to connect to any of these devices. So now back in SEMS, we refresh our page. You'll see that the GoodWe Test South Africa is now online. We've connected it to the network. Although we haven't set the batteries SOC or tariff information or anything like that, we have got the plant online. And now from the SEMS Plus app, we'll be able to make all of those changes and change all of those settings as we need to. Dongle's online, inverter's online. Click on the inverter, click on the battery, and from there we'll be able to set all of our time of use settings or any battery settings that we need to set. Okay, so we have got one question from Ashfaq Solar. Why is the data from the GoodWe smart meter not showing in the SEMS Plus portal or application? It depends on which smart meter we're using. The physical smart meter doesn't always show up as an actual device, but it will show up in the grid reference data. If we're not seeing load control or anything like that, it's possible that we've told the system under information that we're using a third-party controller rather than a local one. So just if you can log into your plant itself, click on the three dots, go to basic information, and right down at the bottom of the page, it will say, just log on to Yahoo test. So this is obviously the web browser. I can just show you where it would look like in there. I've already logged off on my phone. But in the status station information, here, I've logged on the account. Right at the bottom of the profile asks you if you're using a third-party controller or not. If you're not using a third-party controller, just say not existing. And from there, we'll be able to see all of our load profiles and get all the information from your grid again. It's possible that that's maybe why it's not showing your grid information. But if you look at this plant, for example, again, even though we're not connected to the grid, under devices, it would still show the actual meter. But because of the GM330 meter, for example, it doesn't have the meter showing up as available because there's no physical configuration changes that we need to do on the smart meter. Here is a link to our support details, our contact team, service team. If there are any other questions, please do reach out to them. Alternatively, you can reach out to me as well at jason.wasty@goodwe.com. But the support team will be able to support you with any other questions or anything like that.